Hey y'all, how's it going? I'm Fran. Welcome to my channel. Today is October 13th and I want to talk to you about making your own plant tags. Before we get into that, I want to talk to you about what I don't recommend using. A lot of people recommend these, tell you that you can use them, that they work just fine. Well, they can work just fine unless you're using them to start seeds in, and then you're going to have issues if you're using them to start seeds. The reason is because when you put them in a seedling tray, you have to use so much moisture on your seeds to get them to germinate that those popsicle craft sticks soak up all that moisture. They start to rot, they turn black, and you're not going to be able to read what you wrote. Then you're not going to know what you have. So I don't recommend using those because they don't last that long and they rot. So there you go. Don't use craft sticks, popsicle sticks. Also, on the tags that you can buy in the prepackaged little things that you can get from the box stores, those are okay to use. The problem with them are that they are so slick, it's hard to get anything to write on them. And sometimes if you try to use pencil, the pencil won't even write on them. And if you use permanent marker, if you get it to stay, it's not going to be permanent because it will wash away in the rain and it will also fade away with sun. So that doesn't work well either. You can get a grease pencil, and it seems like a long time ago I had some of those, and my dad gave me a grease pencil, and if I remember correctly, even though they wrote on them, they smeared really easy. So I don't really like to use that either. You can try the grease pencil and see how it works for you if you have some of those tags, but I don't really remember if they work that well or not. It's been a long time since I've had any, so I don't recommend them. And the problem with those also are they are expensive. If you need a whole lot of plant tags and you try to go buy those in little packs of 10, 15, however many are in there, I believe it's 10, might not even be 10 anymore. But if you need a lot of plant tags, that can run into a whole lot of money. So these two, I like these. They're really extremely expensive. I didn't buy these. A friend of mine sent them to me a long time ago, and I only had 6 of them, so I've never used them because I had a whole lot more plants than 6, and I just didn't use these because I had more plants than that. So anyway, those metal tags like that are really expensive. So let's talk about what you can use. You can probably go to a thrift store and find some vinyl blinds. Now, I know what you're thinking. I wouldn't want plant tags from vinyl blinds that I got from a thrift store. Well, if you get some vinyl blinds from a thrift store, bring them home, wash them, and they'll be fine. I haven't ever found any at a thrift store. I've been given some, and that's how come I always have vinyl blinds. But if you happen to find some at the thrift store, go ahead, pick them up, bring them home, wash them off, and use them for plant tags. Now, I like to cut mine up. These are about 4.5 inches long, and the good thing about these are pencil will write on them, pencil will stay on them. Can you see that I have written that on there? Now, I use these in the garden. They will last at least a season, sometimes longer, just with pencil on them. But if you want them to last longer than that season, then I recommend that you get the paint pens. Now, the paint pens come in several different colors. I don't know what all kind of colors they have now. I know there's blue, there's yellow, there's green, there's black, there's orange, there's different colors. I like to use the black if I'm writing on my plant tags. If I'm writing on something that's not a plant tag, I like to use different colors because sometimes I take 2-liter bottles and I will plant stuff in the 2-liter bottle, and I like to use yellow, red, or white on those because I will plant in those clear things and the black doesn't show up, because I will put my name down there near the bottom where I've got the soil, so you can't really see them that well if you write in the black pen. And another thing about the paint pens are, you can find them in craft stores, but I don't recommend going to craft stores because they're going to be more expensive at a craft store. Go to Walmart, go to the craft section, look for the paint pens. They're about $3 a piece. So when I cut my tags, I like to cut the ones where the string was with the hole in them. That way, if you want to use it as a hanging tag, you can put it something through it to hang it up on the plant that you're going to hang it on. Now, the thing about these are, if you have them out in the sun, over time they're going to get brittle and they will break. So if I use them in pots, I like to make them, I'll make several of them. I will put one underneath the plant when I plant it, so it's in the bottom of the pot, and then I will put 1 or 2 on the sides, and I'll fix one so I can pull it up and read the tag, so it's not always in full sun. If you do that and put one underneath the plant in the bottom of the pot, make sure that you up pot that plant as you need to, because if you don't, the roots are going to grow around your tag that you have in the bottom, and it's going to be lost and you're not going to be able to see it. So make sure that you keep a check on up potting so you don't lose that tag that you put in the bottom. I also, when I plant them in the ground, will put one in the bottom of my hole, and then I will put 2 or 3 tags with the plant, and then I'll fix one so I can actually read it, pull it up out of the ground and read it. I have lost my tags underneath when I put it in a hole because the roots went up underneath and got the tag entwined in it, and sometimes you can't find those when that happens. So that's why I like to put more than one plant tag with it. So I like to put 2 or 3. That way I know that I've got plenty of tags and I'm going to be able to find one, hopefully. Now, with the vinyl blinds and using the paint pen, a lot of people say that the paint pen won't say. Well, I've never had that problem, and the reason I've never had that problem is because I use a sealer. I like to get the one that's in the can. When I first started getting these to use as a sealer, you could get them at Walmart for 98 cents in the Walmart brand paint, and they were 98 cents a piece, but they no longer have those. And I sent my husband to go get these, and this is what he come back with. He said it was the only thing that he found at Walmart, and he even asked if they had anything else. It used to be called clear coat or top coat, but it's obviously no longer called that because he said that they couldn't find anything that was called top coat or clear coat. This one is Krylon triple thick crystal clear glaze. So that's all it is, pretty much, is just a sealer. When I spray my sealer, I will spray a very light coat. I will let that dry, then I will spray another one, let that dry, and then I will usually put a third. Sometimes I put a fourth. I am sorry about the camera moving. The dogs are in here playing and they are shaking the thing my camera is standing on. So, okay, vinyl blinds. Cheapest method. Even if you have to go buy some new ones, if you get the shortest ones or cheapest ones they have, you're still going to end up with a whole lot of tags, because these will last a very long time, because there are a lot of slats on vinyl blinds. So, good cheap alternative. Check thrift stores first to see if you can find some. If you can't, then go buy you a package of new ones. So, don't forget to get paint pen. Black, if you prefer black. You can use a pencil if you're going to seal it though, because pencil will stay on it too if you seal it. So I just like using the paint pens because they are so much darker than the pencil. But you can use pencil and you can seal it and it will be more permanent. Just remember, if you fix it where it's going to be out in the sun, over time it's going to get brittle. And when I mean over time, it's not, you know, it's going to last you at least 2, maybe 3 seasons. Just keep a check on them and make sure that, you know, the ones that are out in the sun are still good. Now, another option that you can use for a more permanent plant tag is cans. Now, I took this can, I cut it up, I cut the bottom, I cut the bottom and I cut the top off, and then I poked a hole in it so I could get my scissors in, and then to cut the bottom and top off, I poked a hole in it to get my scissors in, cut the bottom and top off, and then I go up the side of the can from the bottom to the top so I can flatten it out. Now, these make pretty good tags, and here is one tag that I made, and here's another one. You see the difference? Can you see that one? This one has raised letters, and these sink in. The way that you can do that is get you a ballpoint pen that no longer works, and when you write on this side, it's going to make the indentions sink into it. But if you turn it over and write on this side, then that's going to give you a raised lettering. Now, I went to Harbor Freight and picked up, this is a hand seamer. And what it does is you take it, when you cut your tag and write your name on it first. You take it and you bend it over to however you want. You're going to want the shiny side out. So you will bend it over to the color side, and it will bend it, and then it'll make a crease, and then you crimp it again to make the fold. When I made mine, I double folded mine because I have a few burrs on it, and these are sharp. You have to be really careful. I recommend using gloves. Make sure you use gloves if you're going to do this, because they are very sharp and they will cut you. Cans will cut you. Make sure you use gloves, or extremely cautiousness if you're not using gloves. I recommend gloves. Don't do what I do. I don't use gloves because I didn't have any to use. But if you're going to make a lot of these, please use some gloves. That's going to give you some protection. But now, the cans are extremely easy to cut. I have these scissors. That's what I use to cut it with. And they are just the Wainscott scissors. Nothing special about them. This one is just a 7-inch scissors. Doesn't say that it's the medium or whatever grade they grade the scissors at. So anyway, that's one thing that you can use, are cans. Another thing that you can get, and if the wind's blowing, I'm sorry if you can't hear me, I'm trying my best. You can get aluminum tape or foil tape, or it may be listed as HVAC tape. What it is duct tape that they use on duct work when they put in ACs or heating units or stuff for the duct work under your house or wherever the duct work's at. But anyway, that's what it is. Now, it can range from $8 to $16 depending on where you get it. I looked it up at Lowe's, and it depends on the width and the length of how much it is. The cheapest that I found was about $8 online at Lowe's, so you can go pick you up some if you want to use that. When you use the aluminum tape, it is the same principle as these. You can either write on it this way or that way from the back. Well, probably you'd want to do it from the front. But because the back side of the tape is going to be sticky, so you might want to, you do it from the front. But anyway, to be able to write on these, you're going to need a block of wood too. A 5x5 piece of wood should be fine. So you're going to want to use it because it'll help you make the indentation. And then when you use the tape, you want to get you something that you can make a flag with, so you can stick it down into your pot or into the ground. Now, you can either use old metal coat hangers, or you can use buy you a roll of cheap wire and then cut it to the length that you want to use. If you get you some wire, that's going to last longer than a coat hanger, because usually it's, something that you use outside. Coat hanger's going to rust probably pretty quickly outside. But on the cheap, if you want to use a coat hanger, you can go ahead and use a coat hanger. Now, another thing that you can get is aluminum flashing. This is a little bit thicker than a can, and it might be a little bit harder to cut. I haven't used this one yet because I've got several cans that I saved when other people drank something out of a can. I don't usually drink soda, so I don't usually get them in cans. Even if I do drink something that's from a store, I get mine in bottles because I like to have a lid. But anyway, I have several cans that I can use, but I went ahead and got my husband to pick me up some of this. This one is a 10-inch by 10 foot. So it's 10 inches from here to here, and then it's a 10-foot long roll. This is going to be able to be cut with a decent pair of scissors as well. But you definitely want to fold them over so you don't have any sharp sides or anything. I mean, you're still going to have the points, so just be careful with that. Also, if you want to make it a hang tag, you're going to need a hole punch. Just a single hole punch. You can pick one up at Mighty Dollar or Dollar Tree. If you don't have Mighty Dollar, we have Mighty Dollar. You can pick them up at Dollar Tree or the 99-cent store or whatever your dollar store is. They usually have hole punches, and they will punch a hole in the thin metal. So anyway, the aluminum flashing, or you can get aluminum tape or use aluminum cans to make you some absolutely fairly permanent tags. And I don't know how long this will last. I would say years, unless you're going to bury it. But if you're just going to use it to stick as a pot sticker or as a ground flag, they should last you for years. I've heard people tell me that they have found some flashing that had been buried in the yard and obviously had been there for years. So, and aluminum cans, they will last too. I've seen them, they will start to rust eventually, but they're a pretty permanent option. But there you go. Some options that you can use for plant tags on the cheap. Cheapest option is going to be vinyl blinds. Next cheapest option is going to be aluminum cans if you want to use something that's more permanent. Just be cautious, be careful, don't get cut, and work with it really slow. So, because it's aluminum, it's sharp, it'll cut you. Anyway, there you go. Then you got your next option of aluminum tape, aluminum foil tape, HVAC tape, whatever you want to call it. And then you can also use flashing. So there's you some options that you can use. Don't use popsicle sticks, craft sticks, because they don't last. But if you're gonna pick you up some of these tips, try to use some of the tips that I've given you, let me know. let me know how they work out for you. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you like my channel, please sub, like, and share if you'd like to. Thank you very much. Y'all have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.